If Star Wars The Force Awakens taught us anything, it's that everybody needs a bro with a bow. This is essentially a painting project, but you're going to wind up with something really cool. I'm starting out with the Nerf The Force Awakens Chewbacca Bowcaster. In the box it comes unassembled, and it's actually much easier for this project that it comes that way. You've got several parts: the blaster body, a dart clip, the shoulder stock, the bow itself, and several darts. Along with that, the scope assembly. Most of the parts snap together, and once they snap together, they don't come back apart. So I'm just going to slip it together a little bit here to get an idea of how it works. And because I'm a professional, I only lost one Nerf dart while playing with this in my basement. In order to get this ready for paint, we're going to do a couple things. The first, get rid of the branding on the side of the blaster. I found that a razor knife actually worked best here to kind of peel off that raised plastic. Use that knife and some sandpaper to remove any writing on the side of the blaster. Really what you want to do is hit this with sandpaper everywhere. This plastic is shiny, and what you want to do is get it a little dull to get it ready for paint. All the extra doodads that go with this, you want to hit them with a sanding sponge as well, and some sandpaper, because you can fold it up and it'll get in all those tight places. The stock itself is pretty easy. It's all pretty much straight angles. For the bow, we'll remove the bungee. I don't want to get any paint on that, and then put the pieces back together so they can have a nice uniform paint job. Once everything's prepped, take it outside for some painting. I'm starting with flat black Krylon Fusion made for plastic. Hang everything from a wire. It'll make it a little bit easier to get a nice paint job on it without getting any of the paint on you. You want to attack this in several light coats, that way you don't wind up with any drips. Everything then came back inside to hang for a while and dry. Once I got a chance to look it over, I had to do some touch-up painting. The spray paint can't get into every nook and cranny, so just a little acrylic paint and a paintbrush will take care of everything else. Then it's time to snap it all together. Next, we're going to go at it with a variety of acrylic craft paints. These can be had really cheaply, about $1 a bottle at any craft store. This is a silver metallic paint I'm using for highlights around that control panel on the side. Most of the time I'm working with these on this project, I'm diluting it at least a little bit with some water. Then a really dilute gray solution to give it some dimension. Really, all through this process, I'm making it up as I go along. You really can't go wrong here. What you're trying to do is incorporate some highlights and lowlights to try to make this look more realistic. You made a big leap going from the orange and gray of the Nerf plastic to a nice flat black, but it shouldn't be all uniform, one color. Now this is a really diluted wash of brown acrylic paint. As you brush this on and give it a chance to dry, what you're going to wind up with is the paint collecting in a couple spots to make it look like a little rust or grime. Wash over it everywhere, then let it dry. Next, this is a pretty cool product. It's called Rub and Buff. It's a wax metallic finish. You brush it on with a dry brush, then go back over it with a paper towel to buff it out. This really gives some added dimension to your project. You really can't go wrong with this stuff either. Again, I'm making this up as I go along. I don't have any plan in my mind. I'm just kind of toying around, adding a little bit here and there to try to make it look more realistic. Along with the silver metallic rub and buff, I also have some turquoise, which looks like the patina you'd see on copper. And if you mess up, you can always go back over it with a little bit of dilute black paint in order to tone it down a bit. When it's all done and I have it looking how I'd like, it's time to go back outside and hit the whole thing with matte clear coat. That's going to make the surface look nice and uniform and protect it, because this paint is really easy to chip off. There it is. It's all back together and looking awesome, and it still works. It even shoots better. Thanks for watching, and I also want to say thank you to two YouTube makers. Bill at Punish Props, he did a Star Wars blaster not that long ago. It really inspired me. And then also Bob at I Like to Make Stuff, he painted up a Nerf blaster not that long ago, and it turned out really cool. I'll put links to both of them into the description so you can check them out. That's one of the great things about the YouTube maker community, is there's plenty out there to see, and a little bit of information goes a long way. I really believe that makers help make more makers. We all inspire each other to take on a project and do something cool. Thanks for watching. Since you found my page, take the time to subscribe. Check out some of my other projects. I've got a lot of cool Star Wars themed stuff because I'm kind of a big Star Wars dork. Don't go solo. You need a bro with a bow, you know.